There exists an unseen frequency, powerful enough to move mountains, heal pains, and attract miracles that defy all human logic. It cannot be bought. It is not learned in school. But when you activate it, the reality around you begins to obey a new spiritual order. The right people appear at the right time. Doors open without you even having to knock. The impossible no longer seems so distant, and it all begins with a simple decision to elevate your vibration, not with empty positive thinking, but with an ancient and profound practice that realigns you with the quantum field of infinite possibilities. This technique has been used by sages, masters, and initiates for centuries, and today it is within your reach. If you feel ready to break the cycle and make space for true miracles to happen in your life, then listen to every single word of this video, because it didn't come to you by chance. The universe always responds when the right vibration is emitted. Perhaps lately you've noticed something strange happening. You wake up with that heavy feeling in your chest, as if carrying an invisible burden that no one else can see. You look in the mirror and feel that the person reflected is not who you truly are inside. You live days that repeat in an endless cycle of frustrated expectations and postponed dreams. If this resonates with you, know that you are not alone on this journey. And if this content is speaking to you, leave a like and subscribe to the channel, because together we will unveil the secrets that can completely transform your reality. The truth few know is that we live in an ocean of invisible energy, where every thought, every emotion, every intention creates waves that propagate through the fabric of space-time. Joe Dispenza, one of today's greatest neuroscientists, has discovered something revolutionary. Our mind does not merely observe reality, but literally constructs it. Every neuron that activates, every neural circuit that forms, is sending electromagnetic signals that interact with the quantum field around us. But here's the problem that keeps millions of people trapped in lives they don't desire. We are vibrationally misaligned. We have spent decades conditioning our brain to operate on the same low frequency of worry, fear, anxiety, and limitation. And this frequency has become our identity. Our body has become chemically dependent on stress hormones, creating a cycle where we unconsciously seek out the same situations that confirm our limiting beliefs. It's as if you are a radio station permanently tuned to the 90.5 frequency of scarcity, while abundance is broadcasting on 105.7. You can scream all you want that you desire a different life, but if your inner frequency continues to emit signals of lack, that is exactly what the universe will reflect back to you. Imagine for a moment a symphony orchestra. When all the instruments are tuned and play in harmony, the music that emerges is transcendent, capable of giving us goosebumps and touching our deepest soul. But when even a single violin is out of tune, the entire symphony sounds strange, annoying. Your life works exactly like that. When your thoughts, emotions, intentions, and actions vibrate at the same high frequency, you become an irresistible magnet for everything you wish to manifest. The technique I will share with you today is not just another one of those superficial visualization practices you've tried 1,000 times. It acts on the neurological structure of your brain, recalibrating your vibrational frequency at a cellular level. And when that happens, something magical begins to manifest. You stop chasing your manifestations, and they start being magnetically attracted to you. Joe Dispenza discovered that when we live on autopilot, repeating the same thoughts from yesterday, experiencing the same emotions as always, and making the same choices every day, we are literally reliving the past. Our brain cannot distinguish between a truly lived experience and an intensely imagined experience. This means that if you can get yourself into the inner state of someone who already has what they desire, your body will begin to adapt to this new reality even before it physically manifests. And if you're wondering exactly how to do that, I've prepared exclusive material that describes step-by-step the entire process of vibrational elevation that I've personally used for years. It's available at the link pinned in the first comment of this video. It will be a turning point on your journey. The first phase of this groundbreaking technique begins with what Dispenza calls the expanded present moment. Most people mentally live in the past, dwelling on mistakes and traumas, or are anxious about the future, projecting fears and expectations. But magic happens exclusively in the now. It is only in the present that you have access to the quantum field of infinite possibilities. Here's something fascinating. When you can keep your attention completely in the present moment for prolonged periods, something extraordinary happens in your brain. Brain waves begin to synchronize at frequencies normally only accessible during deep meditative states or mystical experiences. In this state, you are no longer the same person who woke up this morning. You become a being in a pure state of potentiality. But to get there, you must first break the chemical dependency you have on your current personality. Yes, you heard right. Your personality is literally a drug. Every time you think, "I'm an unlucky person," or "I always mess everything up," your brain releases a chemical cascade that reinforces that identity. Your body becomes dependent on this familiar chemistry and will begin to send signals to the brain that maintain this inner state. This is why real change seems so difficult. It's not just a matter of willpower. It's a matter of neurological detoxification. You literally have to stop being who you were to become who you want to be. And this generates profound discomfort, because it means you will go through a period where you are no longer the person you were before, but you are not yet completely the new person. This is the sacred territory of transformation. This is where most people give up, because the unknown is scarier than an unhappy but familiar life. However, those who cross this bridge discover a version of themselves on the other side that they never imagined was possible. The second phase of the technique involves something few masters teach: the creation of a new, specific, and detailed future self. I'm not talking about a vague visualization where you imagine having money or finding the love of your life. I'm talking about neurologically building a complete identity of the person you would be if you had already realized all your dreams. How does this person think? What emotions do they predominantly feel during the day? How do they walk, talk, breathe? What decisions do they make? How do they react to challenges? What kind of energy do they emanate when they enter a room? You must know this future version of yourself better than you know your current version. The brain, this incredible supercomputer we have, cannot distinguish between something vividly imagined and something actually experienced. When you repeatedly try to be this new version of yourself, you are literally installing new neural circuits. And when these circuits become stronger than the old patterns, your personality changes. And when your personality changes, your personal reality changes too. Now comes the most important part: the elevation of the emotional state. Most people try to manifest from a state of lack, despair, or impatience. They say, "I want this because I don't have it," or "I need that to be happy." But this very vibration of need is sending a clear signal to the quantum field. I am not someone who possesses this. The ancestral technique that will change your life completely reverses this logic. Instead of trying to get something to feel a certain way, you first cultivate the feeling of already having what you desire, and then allow that inner state to magnetically attract the corresponding external circumstances. Imagine you desire financial abundance. Instead of focusing on the lack of money and the anxiety that generates, you must first access the emotional state of someone who already lives in abundance. How would you feel right now if you knew you would never have financial worries again? What physical sensation would you have in your body? What kind of peace of mind would you experience? When you can maintain that inner state for prolonged periods, regardless of external circumstances, something magical happens. Your personal electromagnetic field aligns with the frequency of abundance. And it is this frequency that the universe reads and reflects back to you through opportunities, people, and situations that appear in a seemingly miraculous way. Joe Dispenza has scientifically demonstrated that when we are in elevated emotional states like gratitude, compassion, joy, or unconditional love, our energy field expands significantly. We can literally alter the environment around us. Plants grow faster near people in elevated states. Other people feel inexplicably attracted to our presence. Opportunities arise as if the universe itself were conspiring in our favor. But here's the secret that few master. Maintaining this elevated state requires emotional discipline that goes far beyond traditional meditation. It's a work of reconnecting with who you truly are, beneath all the layers of social conditioning, family traumas, and limiting beliefs that have accumulated over the years. The third phase of this revealing technique involves what I call expanded heart coherence. Did you know that your heart has over 40,000 neurons? This means your heart literally thinks and feels independently of the brain. Even more fascinating, when the heart and brain enter into coherence, that is, when they begin to beat at the same frequency, something extraordinary happens throughout your nervous system. In this state of heart coherence, you access a higher intelligence that goes far beyond rational thought. It is in this state that the deepest intuitions arise, that solutions appear like sudden flashes, that you feel an intimate connection with something greater that transcends your individuality. To access this state, you will need to learn to breathe in a specific way, consciously directing your breath towards the heart area. While doing so, intentionally cultivate an open-hearted emotion, gratitude, compassion, unconditional love, or a deep sense of appreciation for life. It is not a mental gratitude where you list things you should be grateful for. It is a visceral gratitude which you physically feel expanding in your chest. When you maintain this combination of directed breath and elevated emotion, your heart rhythm enters a mathematical pattern called coherence. This pattern is like a key that unlocks dimensions of reality that normally remain inaccessible to common consciousness. In this state, you become a powerful transmitter, sending clear and coherent signals to the informational field around us. But there's a crucial detail that makes all the difference. You must do this not just during a few minutes of practice, but cultivate this state as a new way of being. The goal is not to have sporadic moments of vibrational elevation, but to establish this frequency as your new emotional baseline. This is where many people stumble. They practice the technique in the morning, feel wonderful for a few minutes, and then automatically return to their usual patterns of thought and emotion. It's like taking a bath and then rolling in the mud. The cleansing must be constant, conscious, and intentional. The fourth phase of this transformation involves what ancient initiates called mystical death. Don't worry, it's nothing dramatic or dangerous. It's simply the process of consciously letting go of all the old versions of yourself that no longer serve your growth. Every limiting belief, every destructive emotional pattern, every habit that keeps you small must be identified and consciously dissolved. This requires brutal honesty with yourself. You will have to look into the eyes of all your fears, insecurities, resentments, and limitations without hiding behind justifications or blaming others for the circumstances of your life. It's an intense but absolutely liberating process. Joe Dispenza has discovered that when we stop being victims of our circumstances and take full responsibility for our reality, something miraculous happens. We regain our personal power. And with this power comes the ability to literally rewrite our personal story, not by changing the past, but by changing the emotional charge and meaning we attach to our experiences. Every trauma transforms into wisdom. Every failure reveals itself as a necessary redirection. Every disappointment converts into an opportunity for growth. You stop being someone to whom things happen and become someone who consciously co-creates their reality in partnership with the universe. The fifth and final phase of the technique is perhaps the most powerful: subconscious programming through what I call future immersion. During the period between sleep and wakefulness, especially in the moments before falling asleep and upon waking, your brain naturally enters alpha and theta waves. These are the same brain states accessed during deep hypnosis, where the subconscious becomes more receptive to new programming. It is during this sacred period that you will install your new future self, directly into your subconscious, with all the sensory details you can gather, how it feels to wake up as this new version of yourself, what thoughts cross your mind, what emotions predominate, how you move in the world, what kind of people you attract, what opportunities naturally appear in your life. You will literally live these future moments with such emotional intensity and richness of detail that your subconscious will not be able to distinguish between imagination and reality. And when that happens, it automatically begins to seek out evidence in the external world that confirms this new identity, creating an irresistible magnetic force that attracts the corresponding circumstances. But there's something I must share in full transparency. This technique is not magic in the sense of transforming your life overnight without any effort on your part. It is magical because it realigns you with the natural laws of the universe, allowing you to flow with the currents of life instead of swimming against them. But it still requires dedication, consistency, and a genuine willingness to grow beyond who you were. In the first few days and weeks of practice, you might feel internal resistance. Your mind will try to convince you that this doesn't work, that you're not the kind of person who deserves an extraordinary life, that it's better to keep your feet on the ground and accept a mediocre existence. This resistance is actually a positive sign. It means you are acting on deep structures that were limiting your life. Persist beyond this initial resistance. On the other side, a version of yourself awaits that you may not even imagine is possible. A version that wakes up every day with genuine enthusiasm for life, that sees opportunities where others see problems, that naturally attracts people and circumstances aligned with their highest values. When you master this technique, something extraordinary happens. You stop trying to force things to happen and start allowing them to unfold naturally. You develop an unwavering trust that you are exactly where you need to be, doing exactly what you need to do at the perfect moment. And from this trust arises a magnetic presence that positively influences everyone around you. People start asking you what has changed in you. They comment that you seem different, more radiant, more confident. Opportunities appear from unexpected places. Relationships harmonize or naturally dissolve, making space for more authentic connections. Financial resources flow more easily. Your health strengthens. Your creativity explodes in new directions. It's not that you've become a different person. It's that you have finally become who you always were, beneath all the layers of conditioning. You have discovered your authentic essence and have learned to live from that place of personal power. And when you live authentically, aligned with your deepest truth, the universe has no choice but to support your journey in every possible way. If you've made it this far, it's because something within you recognizes the truth of these words. You know you are made for far more than a life of emotional survival and self-imposed limitations. You know there's a version of yourself waiting to emerge, a version capable of living with joy, abundance, purpose, and unconditional love. The only question that remains is, are you willing to do what it takes to become that person? Because the technique works. It's scientifically proven. But it only works for those who are truly committed to their own transformation. The future you desire is not in some distant moment waiting for you to become good enough to deserve it. It is available right now, in this very moment, just waiting for you to elevate your vibration to align with it. Every conscious breath, every moment of full presence, every choice of love instead of fear is literally building the bridge between who you are today and who you can become. If this content has deeply touched you, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more revelations that can completely transform your path. Remember, you didn't get here by chance. The universe has extraordinary plans for your life, and they begin to unfold the moment you decide to elevate your vibration and align with your highest truth. The transformation you seek is within reach. Now is the time to reach out and fully embrace it.